Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the St. Tammany Parish Planning Commission meeting of April the 7th. Those of you that are watching from home, the call-in numbers and everything are on the screen. So if you wish to call in, please do so. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Tom Seeger.
Here.
Kenneth Russ.
Here.
Nelwyn McInnes.
Here.
Bernie Willie. Dave Dougherty.
Here.
Paul Barcelona. Patrick Fitzmaurice.
Here.
Weldon Crawford.
Here.
Kirk Drum.
Here.
And Ron Randolph.
Here. We have a quorum.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Public announcements, please silence all phones and electronic devices. If you disagree with the decision this commission makes, you have the right to appeal it to the council, and the appeal cards are on my right over here on the banister. Speaker cards, same thing. If you wish to speak, please get one of the speaker cards, fill it out, and turn it into staff, and they'll get it up here so that we know that you'd like to speak. Public speaking, 10 minutes each side, 5 minutes for rebuttal. After your case is heard, please exit the building because at times we get a lot of people here and there'll be folks waiting outside to hear or participate in their case. Please rise for the invocation by Commissioner Randolph and the pledge by Commissioner Drum.
Gracious Father, once again, we take out this time to say thank you for all the blessings you've granted unto us. We thank you for your grace and mercy that you bestowed upon each and every one of us throughout this entire day. Lord, we thank you for this moment in time. We thank you for this commission, Lord, and those that's in the audience and the residents that we serve in this parish. Continue to bless our parish leaders and all of our employees. Bless our families in a mighty way. It's in your holy name. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, in the commissioner's packet, there was the minutes from our previous meeting of March the 16th. Hopefully you've had a chance to review them. Commissioner Fitzmaurice.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Fitzmaurice. Commissioner Randolph.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Randolph. Please vote.
Eight yeas, 0 nays, motion passed.
Thank you. All right, request for postponement. Well, now you're supposed to tell me half of them were postponed. All right, thank you. All right, the first item is entering parish right-of-way servitudes, easement, and Tammany Trace. Request to enter the parish right-of-way for portions of 7th Street, 8th Avenue, 7th Street, for the purpose of extending the street and installing drainage features. Palais First Subdivision, the Debtors HMM Development LLC, Parish Council District Representatives, Honorable Cheryl Tanner. General location, property is located on 7th Avenue, 8th Avenue, and 7th Street, east of 6th Street, south of Highway 435 of Beta Springs, Ward 10, District 6. Staff?
Yes, sir. The petitioner is requesting to enter the parish right-of-way to access his property as stated when you read it in, and staff has reviewed his request and has no objection, sir.
Okay, thank you. Is someone here representing HMM Development?
Yes.
Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Jack Mendheim. I'm one of the owners of HMM Development. Its address is 221 St. Anne Drive in Mandeville, Louisiana, and I'm here to answer any questions of the commission or the public.
Okay, all right. Does anyone in the audience have any comments on this particular item? All right, I'll close it to the public and bring it back to the commission. Commissioner Seeger. Okay, come,
I'd like to ask that gentleman a question.
come to the microphone.
I would just like to know, is the road going to be paved? All the roads that they plan on cutting? Is it
Okay,
gonna
fill out
be
a
paved
speaker card
roads?
and,
Sir? Are they?
Jack,
Ma'am, you need to address your questions to the council. You need to address your questions to the commission, and the commission can refer that back to the developer or to the
Okay.
petitioner.
I'd like to know if all the roads are going to be paved.
okay, all right. Jack, I believe you said your name was?
Jack Bentheim, and the answer to that is yes.
Okay, thank you. All right. Any other question, ma'am?
No, sir, thank you.
Okay, all right. So I'm gonna close it to the public, bring it back to the commission. Commissioner Seeger.
Move to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Seeger to approve. Commissioner Randolph.
A second?
Second by Commissioner Randolph. Please vote.
Eight yeas, 0 nays, motion approved.
Thank you. All right, the next item is a request to enter parish right-of-way for a portion of Lamarck Street for the purpose of extending the street and installing drainage features, Town of Madisonville subdivision, the Debtors Legacy South Development LLC. Parish Council District is the Honorable James Davis. General location, property is located on Lamarck Street, north of Destin Street, south of LeBar Street, east of Louisiana Highway 59, Mandeville, Ward 4, District 7. Staff?
Yes, sir. The petitioner is requesting to enter the parish right-of-way for the purpose of gaining access to his property. Staff has reviewed the request and has no objection, sir.
Okay, thank you. Anyone here representing Legacy? Come forward. Good evening.
Good evening. I'm Zach Dugas. I am one of the owners of Legacy South Development, and I'm here to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you. All right, anyone in the audience wish to come forward and speak on something? All right, John? Did you fill out a speaker card?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And what's your name?
Patrick Graham.
Okay. Good
I have a
evening.
drainage question. I live at 1530 Lamarck Street. There's a contributory to Bayou Castain that runs along the left side of my house. Is he going to build a street from Destin to Lamarck? Is he going to cross that creek? Is he going to drain it back toward Destin Street?
All right. We'll get an answer to that question for you. All right, anyone else? Mr. Zugat, do you want to come forward and answer the question?
As of now, we are planning to go from Destin Street 300 feet into the right-of-way and create a T-turn, and with drainage going 300 feet in, back to Destin Street. That will be discussed through Kelly McHugh and myself, and the drainage will be done through his association.
Okay. All right. Any other comment from the public? Want to close it to the public and bring it back to the commission. Mr. Seeger.
I have a question for staff. I've never seen such a small road proposed before. Does that meet codes?
Regarding the width,
Yes.
yes, sir. I mean, based off the right-of-way and the existing roads around it, you know, it's 18 feet. It's going to be about as wide as Destin Street is that it's tying into.
That being said, I move to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Seeger to approve, Commissioner Crawford.
I just had one quick question for staff also. Those are lots of record that have been posted?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'll second that motion.
Okay, Commissioner McInnes.
I was curious why we don't require that they connect to LeBar Street. Seems odd to stop in the middle of a block. Or am I reading it wrong?
They're only required to bring the road up to where they're going to access their property. Since they're not going to be accessing Lot 8, they have the option to extend the full length of it if they would like.
Could I ask the developer then? If you could come up. Wouldn't that be better for your homes there to be able to go either direction?
It possibly would be, but we don't find it necessary to do that. And Lot 8 that Chris is referring to has a gravel road going to that house that is located on Lot 8 right now. And that gravel road is actually on Lamarck Street with no pavement. That's his only way to get to his house right now. So I don't want to disrupt how he's getting to his house because he's a living resident on Lamarck Street right now.
But won't people be encouraged to use his gravel road if they want to go to LeBar?
I don't know what people are going to want to do. I mean, ideally, people take the Destin Street entrance.
Point of information, with that T turnaround he's proposing to utilize at the end, there's going to be a type 3 signage with posts at the end of that road that would prevent
Okay.
traffic from being able to pass through.
Okay. All right, well, that answers it. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
All right. Any further questions from commissioners? Please vote.
Can I ask one last question?
Yeah, come on up.
Isn't there a parish ordinance that on the third residence, they complete the street? Since he's building 4, 5, 6, I'm Lot 8. And my driveway, which I have pictures of if you want to see it, it's a driveway that's actually where a ditch would be. It's not in line with the road. It's on the shoulder of the parish property.
Chris, I'm gonna let you answer that.
And a T turnaround, if he states it's going to be 60 feet, well, there's only 50 feet of easement, so I'm a little confused.
The right-of-way is set like it is. He only owns the lots on the one side, and so the T turnaround is going to fit within the existing right-of-way. Also, in regards to the third lot requirement and ordinance requiring the road be extended, I'm unaware of that, and I'll defer to legal if there's such an ordinance in place.
And I'm not aware of anything. I'd have to do further research.
Okay,
Thank you, sir.
all right. Okay. Yes, go ahead.
I drove over there and looked at that again, and I've driven that road enough times. It's an awkward operation there when you want to go from the south to the north, trying to get to LeBar. If you're trying to get to those, you got to go, if I'm not mistaken, you go up Lamarck, then you got to make a left and go down a little ways, and then you make a right, and then you got to make a, because the road doesn't go all the way through. I think, I guess I was feeling that the road going all the way through is a much better layout than that road ending a dead end. And it seems like with a gentleman that owns Lot 8, not having any heartache about going through there, it seems like it would be ideal for the road to be completed all the way through. I mean, I tend to agree that you know, I just thought maybe the lot owner on Lot 8 and maybe didn't really want that coming through, but from what I just heard, it sounds like he's in favor of the road coming through. I don't know if that's something we can ask for or not, you know, or. So.
I don't think we have the right, as far as the commission, to ask for it. That's something that the owner of Lot 8 and the developer could work out.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
All right. We've got a motion and a second. Please vote.
Seven yeas, one nay, Mr. Ress. Motion carried.
Okay, thank you. All right, revocation review. First item is REV 21-04-001, a revocation of an unopened portion of Dupree Street located on the south side of Dupard Street, north of McNamara Street, between Square 209 and Square 210 in the town of Mandeville Subdivision, Mandeville, Louisiana, Ward 4, District 7. The applicant is Yaritza Garcia, Parish Council District Representative, Honorable Jimmy Davis. Staff?
The applicant is requesting to revoke an unopened portion of Dupree Street, and they're looking to assimilate it into their current property. And the staff has no objections.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Garcia here?
Yes, sir.
All right. Good evening.
Good evening.
So you're wanting to have a portion of the street revocated, right?
Yes, sir.
And the purpose of the revocation?
We just wanted to add it to our property to be able to make it to be able to fence it and put it together with our lot that is right next to it.
Okay. All right, thank you. Anyone in the audience wish to speak for or against on this item? Seeing no one, I'll close it to the public and bring it back to the commission. Commissioner Crawford.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Crawford to approve. Commissioner Ress.
Question for staff. The property as it stands belongs to the parish,
That's correct.
so it'd be a purchase?
Correct.
Okay. Drove that too. I guess if there's no intent to extend that road, that's
There
another
isn't.
one of those roads that ends and on the far side, but I drove and looked at it the other day also, and it looks like if there's no use for it, it'd be beneficial to them to own it, so, no, I second the motion.
Okay, thank you. Any further discussion? Please vote.
Eight yeas, zero nays, motion carried.
Thank you. All right. Minor subdivisions, review. Case number 2021-2276-MSP. A minor subdivision of parcels D and E and the parcels D1 and E1. The owner representative is Wildwood Trust, Reams Incorporated, Mount Auburn Corporation, Uptown Retail Development Corporation. Parish Council District Representative, Honorable Steve Stefancic. General location, the parcels located on the west side of Louisiana 434, north of Prentle Road, Lacombe, Ward 6, District 11. This was postponed from the March 16th meeting. Staff?
The applicant is requesting to create two tracts from parcels D and E
The minor subdivision request requires a public hearing due to parcel D and E were previously part of a minor subdivision approved in August 2010. So the request shall be subject to the above comments and also item number 1 and 2. Would also bring up to your attention that the revised survey shows that there will be a portion in the rear that will be created of 20 feet by 150 foot long, which will be an undevelopable strip of land along the rear of the proposed parcel D1. And engineering recommends that the proposed parcel D1 be required to be extended all the way to the rear of the parent parcel property.
Okay, thank you. Anyone here representing the owner? Good evening.
Yes, sir. Keith Fell. I'm with Moss Real Estate Services. I represent the sellers and the buyers.
All right. You've heard staff comments, particularly on the 20 by 150 foot. Are you in agreement to acquire that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other questions you have?
I don't think so.
All right. Anyone else in the audience wish to speak on this item?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I'm not sure that what they're requesting here is there will be a 20-foot open area in the back of parcel D1, and that's what they're requesting. So he is not requesting to bring it all the way up, but as proposed on the survey.
So that will inevitably just be green space from here on out.
Okay. Is that acceptable to the parish?
Well, more or less due to the fact that it's going to create just an empty green space in the rear.
All right. Well, everybody needs green space, so. we'll
If
go
you want
with
to
that
take a
then.
look at the revised survey, it shows you parcel D1 with the little space in the rear.
I have some.
Parcel D1 is where the green space is, on the rear of it, right?
Yes, it shows in the rear of D1.
Okay. All right. We've got.
You got it? Okay.
Survey, yeah. Okay. So everybody's in agreement, then just leave that as green space and not take it into this?
Well, staff just wanted to bring it to your attention. It's kind of not the way we normally approve our surveys. It will create just an empty space in the back. Staff was recommending to bring the line all the way up to the rear property line. However, it is for you to vote on it if you have any issues as far as, it's in front of the
believe-
board, so.
You answered yes, you would bring it in, right?
I misunderstood. So the reason that we've requested that is, it's our understanding that there would be required a traffic study. They're not doing that right now because of COVID. It has to be within the last 5 years. Nothing's been built over there within the last 5 years. That little tract of land lets us get below the 2 acres required.
Okay, so, Chris, you're comfortable with, engineering's comfortable with leaving it as green space?
It's about it's being able to be maintained. It's only 20 feet wide and it's 150 feet deep. As far as trying to get any sort of equipment back there, or if, there's something that results with the property owner with parcel D1, or moving forward, it's an irregular lot configuration. Yeah, engineering, we have no objection to him staying underneath the 2 acres, but we'd much rather see the lot narrowed down from 150 feet to 145 feet, or something along those lines, so we don't leave a strip in the back that, we call it green space, but it's something that somebody at some point, if they ever develop parcel E1, is going to be stuck with.
okay?
Is that clear? I mean, you understand?
So, I mean, I don't know if you have seen that, we did a Zoom meeting, and that's what we had all, I thought, agreed upon.
Okay, well, I mean, it's up to you guys.
The lot is very deep, so that the space at the back doesn't affect the project, the width does.
Well, engineering has suggested that, you know, that green space be taken into parcel D1. Okay? And I understand what you're saying, I understand what staff's saying. And I would go along with what staff's saying, is that you move the line, or get the line moved to, take in that 20-foot by 150 into parcel D1.
Will that require us to have a traffic study?
Chris, I don't think so, not.
Is there any way, is there any way they can adjust the design to account for narrowing the lot to where they can pick up the stuff in the back, so it just goes straight to the back, you know, eliminates this little strip?
We don't have any problem with taking the 20 feet back.
No, and I understand that, and I understand, you know, not wanting to have to do the required traffic study when you're at 2 acres. But I guess, based off your design, and that we're at the point now we're dividing the property, is there any way to adjust the design to fit a narrower lot width and go a little bit deeper with your lot? Or adjust the lot to where you leave more in the back to where it is more manageable or easier to maintain?
Yeah, I don't know where a traffic study can come in, because you've got access to parcels E1 and D1 off of 434. So if there's gonna be a traffic study, it would be coming off of 434 and not that little 20-foot strip.
So, Mr. Doherty,
Right.
just a point of information. So parish ordinance is any commercial parcel larger than 2 acres or larger is required to do a TIA or a traffic study for the parish.
Yeah, but they're not doing traffic studies now unless there's.
Correct.
unless you can
Based
find
off the
one.
current layout, they wouldn't be required to do one. And that's why they're at the 1.997 acres, I believe. But, and we have no objection to that. We're not worried about the traffic study at this point and them trying to meet that or not. It's just more,
So he needs to, submit a new survey taking that 20-foot into D1, right?
unless you guys feel that, you know, it's adequate green space area.
Okay, all right. Anyone else in the audience wish to speak on this item? Gentleman with his hand up back there. Come forward.
Hello, I'm John Malinsky. I'm looking to purchase the land that is in question right now. And the reason that all this is coming up within the 2 acres is we're looking to build a dermatology clinic there. And we really only need 3/4 of an acre. And it's at the max width of the current parcel. So it can't go any smaller. So the rest, as of current, there's no intention to develop anything past where the clinical office would be. So I understand there's going to be green space, but nothing behind that office will be developed.
Okay.
So I'm just saying, as far as any concern of maintaining it or anything, it's just going to be woods, as it is right now. So I just wanted to just clarify that as well.
Okay, all right, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Please fill out a speaker card too. Go
If I could just ask engineering staff, what would be the maximum width in the back that you believe would be required for maintenance? And could they pull that back lot line up even closer into 434 to provide maintenance?
I think that what we're trying to do is to avoid just having a gap in a rear. And we were suggesting to reduce the width of the property instead of reducing the depth.
Yeah, to answer your question, I think maybe 50 feet would provide enough to be able to get equipment in there, turn around, do whatever you need to at that depth.
So if they came up another 30 feet, would that be a potential solution? I mean, I understand what Helen is saying. I'm just trying to come up with other potential solutions that meet everyone's needs.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say somewhere around 50 feet probably. We give them enough time, room to get in there and do something.
Chris, what are we trying to, excuse me, what are we trying to maintain?
So if you have 20 feet, if the tree falls on the property or something, or eventually the owner's clinic expands out, and he built, so once this is split up, he can build the whole parcel regardless of, or if he sells it to somebody else, they can come in and expand to the back. And even if it is 5 years down the road, we still end up with a 20-foot strip back there that owner can't go and do anything on. And if something happens back there as far as something onto the property, it's just a small undeveloped piece of property that's not easily maintainable, I guess is what it boils down to.
And if I may,
Yes, sir.
if we're not required the traffic study and everyone will be agreeable with putting that line back where it initially was to the back of the property and taking that 20 feet back for him to maintain.
I think that would be the solution right there, is take the 20 feet back into parcel D1.
The issue you run into with that, though, is there is no ability to waive the traffic requirement. If you look underneath the ordinance section, yes, sir. It states underneath there that there shall be no waiver of the traffic study.
But I'm not following the need for the traffic study. I mean, there's gonna be access off of 434 for parcel D1.
The ordinance requires it for any commercial properties greater than 2 acres.
Greater than 2 acres.
So that's why they're trying to keep it under.
Okay. All right, so there would be the possibility of a waiver.
And that's what they're requesting, I believe, is the waiver. Is that correct, Helen?
Waiver for what?
Is that what this is here?
Basically, what the request is to be allowed to create a parcel that is below 2 acres to avoid having to do a traffic study.
Or
And
to
that's
waive
the
the traffic study.
configuration that they're proposing.
Okay. So where are we? I think the 20 foot ought to be taken back into D1 and not worry about the traffic study at this point in time.
Do we have the authority to waive the traffic study?
No.
The OTD is basically waiving the traffic study.
And if I could just make one other point of information, I believe you said there has been no traffic study within the last 5 years, is that
Not
correct?
to my knowledge.
Okay, because there is currently an executive order in place which waives certain traffic impact analysis requirements due to the COVID-19 restrictions and the inability of DOTD to process those applications, but it does require using data that's been produced in the past 5 years. So that sounds like it might not be available
I
to
don't
you all in
believe
this
it is.
case. Okay.
Okay, all right, let's bring it back to the commission. Commissioner Randolph.
Thank you, Mrs. Chair. Well, y'all discussions basically brought up a lot of my questions. But the property, I understand what's trying to be done here, and it's right against a main highway. If you're going to develop that, why wouldn't you want to do a traffic study?
Time,
Because they can't,
and we can't.
not on traffic.
Huh?
DOTD is not accepting traffic studies.
Okay, okay.
Timing, it's timing. Yeah, they would have to wait until DOTD opens up and decides to look at a traffic study.
Okay, so I wanna understand one other piece. And that piece is with D1, there's the 20 feet, the 20 foot of undevelopable property. Whether it's maintained by whoever or not, that piece is undeveloped, and the reason why we're extracting that from the property is to get below the 2 acres. So we won't have to have the traffic study.
Correct.
And if that's the case, then who will be responsible for
It is
maintaining
still a
that?
part of the other parcel.
Whoever owns E1.
Correct.
All right, and who owns E1?
The 4 companies that were read earlier, Wildwood,
The ones that I read off initially, there's four.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
It's part of a 23.577 acre parcel.
okay. So, am I in order to ask, do we know for sure that they will be maintaining that part or that parcel of property?
Yes, sir. It's still part of that part. This piece is being broken off from the bigger piece.
Okay. Okay,
And the reason we initially requested this amount is because the two parcels next to that are developed by another physician's office and the Social Security office are that size.
okay.
So,
Okay, that's all I have.
Okay, Commissioner Crawford.
Okay, she had the same concerns. There we go, okay. I share the same concerns that Commissioner Randolph has. And I understand about what you said, Patrick, about the timing of DOT not doing traffic analysis, but we talk about traffic analysis every week up here, every time we come in here. And so I'm under the impression that traffic analysis can get done in a timely fashion at some point in time because we keep requiring numerous people to do it. This is on a highway. It just seems crazy to me to try and get around this to avoid doing a traffic analysis when we're coming off of 434 and we have people going in and out of the business. So I have a problem with that. That's it. No other comment than that. And just I don't really understand it.
The other businesses in that area are medical clinics.
this one's not going to justify a traffic study based off the trip number. So,
Sure.
you have to go to J, but, yeah, I mean, under that order,
I mean, you can handle that.
so,
We'll need Bob and Jay.
but I'm just saying, yeah.
With all this discussion, I'm not sure I even remember what my original comment was.
Well, Emily's got one here.
But I'm thinking that if you had 30 foot, you can maintain that with equipment. We have 30-foot right-of-ways for roads, for private drives all the time. But I understand Weldon's comment as well. It looks like you're just trying to get around an ordinance that is important. And I know you're not, the only reason you're doing it is because of the COVID situation.
Correct.
But it seemed like there ought to be some data available that that could be used. And then what the other developers have been doing is they extrapolate. You know, they said, well, we'll have this many homes, and so that should generate X traffic. So they use predictive models, or they may say, well, there's a new subdivision and it has this many homes, so we're going to add that, even though there's not an official traffic study that includes that, if you know what I mean. So you take the last study that was done and you bring it up to date predictably in a modeling situation.
No, there's no waiver, there's no minimum lot.
So that's my comment.
Yeah, there's a minimum lot.
Okay.
It seemed like it could be done somehow.
Yeah, so the 150 could be.
Commissioner Rest?
Trying to do here is avoid a traffic study, and the parish doesn't like your 20-foot back there. So you probably didn't want to apply for a waiver for the width of the lot, so that's why you probably stayed with 150 feet. We can give a waiver to a 145-foot lot, which would take 300 square foot off the length of the lot, which is 300 square feet on the back of the lot. 145 feet all the way back, we can do a waiver for that, if I'm not mistaken, can't we?
There's no minimum lot width of 150 feet.
There isn't, so they didn't even,
No.
there's not even a waiver needed for that. So if the lot was 145 feet instead of 150, but it went all the way to the back, we'd be done, huh?
I wouldn't have an objection, no, sir.
If you can take a 145-foot lot width, and take it all the way back to include that extra 20 feet back there, this could be like over.
that affect your width of your building?
Okay.
He needs to,
All right.
if he's gonna speak, he needs to
I was just
come
trying to
forward.
find you, I'm trying to find you some help there, but
I need to have you come to the mic.
Sorry, sir. No, I've been trying to make this purchase for several months, and I'm just, whatever it takes to buy the land. That's why when we had a Zoom call last month prior to this was an agreement with everyone, even Helen, you were there as well. And so that's why we thought this wouldn't be an issue. So that's why this is being presented. We're not trying to go around your back or anything like that. I just, we wanted to do a traffic study, that's fine. I'll do the traffic study. But from what we understand, from what we've been advised, is there's no way to find the data. So that's why we couldn't do the traffic study. But if I could get it, if I can get the information, I'd do it today. So I'm just trying to buy the land. That's all I'm trying to do in whatever way makes everybody
Something nice
happy.
and simple, right?
That's what I thought was gonna happen, but that's for me for thinking. So,
Commissioner Fitzgerald.
Yeah, and then almost 20 times.
I was just reviewing that executive order regarding traffic studies while you've all been speaking, and I don't know if this property would require a DOTD traffic study, in which case what I'm about to say wouldn't really apply. But if the only requirement is the traffic study required by parish ordinance, then I believe the last line in the the emergency order that's in place now would apply to you all, which states that new developments or projects located in areas where traffic count data is not available or for which more than 5 years have passed since its calculation will be reviewed and either approved or denied on a case-by-case basis by the parish engineer or assignee. So if DOTD does not have to be involved here, I believe that that provision in the emergency order in place now would apply to your situation.
Okay. You're comfortable with that, Chris?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, so it's not gonna be a traffic study required on this, and you're willing to extend the property back the other 20 feet?
I'm certain that they are.
Okay. All right. What?
Even if he removes 580 square feet out of this, just 140.
I hear you.
Can Helen, do you have the initial survey still?
Yes.
So we could just use that one? That's the one we had done to begin with.
He said they have the original survey, which went all the way back and didn't carve out the 20, so he'd like to submit that, and that'll be what we approve.
Correct.
Or not approve.
Right.
It's not a cinch yet.
Understood.
We're getting there, though.
Understood.
Anything else?
No, well, given the amended survey, I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Fitzmars to approve on the amended survey. Commissioner Randolph.
I'll second that.
Second by Commissioner Randolph. Any further discussion?
Mr. Chairman, just to make sure we're all on the same page, so this is the approval of the survey that was presented last month, not the new survey?
Approved lot will be 150 by 600. It'll incorporate that 20 feet in the rear to this lot,
Okay,
to parcel D1.
thank you.
Okay?
Okay, we clear?
Yes, thank you.
This is one of those that, should have taken 2 minutes.
Well, good thing we have legal here.
We're sorry.
Please vote.
Now, you,
8 yeas, 0 nays. Motion passed.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. All right, the next case is 2021-2281-MSP. A minor subdivision of parcel B into parcels B1 and B2. Owner and representative is Mr. Thomas and Laura Guidros. Parish Council District Representative, Honorable Marty Dean. General location of parcel located on the south side of Stagner Road, Covington, Ward 1, District 3. This was postponed from the March 16th meeting. Staff?
The applicant is requesting to create two parcels from parcel B. The minor subdivision request requires a public hearing due to parcel B was previously part of a minor subdivision approved in May 2008, and parcel B2 is requested to be created as a flag lot, requiring a waiver of the regulation by the Planning Commission, since flag lots are only permitted above the urban growth boundary line.
Okay, thank you. Mr. and Mrs. Idros? And that's probably not pronouncing it right.
Tommy Guidros. Yeah, just back again for getting the flag lot approved. Last time we were here, had just some questions because neighbor wasn't sure about the line, but since then, we've had the person that did land surveying came back out with them and us, and we all looked at it and squared everything away. They were just, the confusion before was just that whenever they bought the house a year ago, they never had a formal survey. They never seen a line, the official line. So all good from there, and just coming back here, happy to answer any questions you have about the flag lot.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone in the audience wish to speak for or against on this case? Seeing no one, I'll close it to the public and bring it back to the commission. Commissioner Fitzmaurice.
Make a motion to approve with the waiver.
Motion by Commissioner Fitzmaurice to approve with the waiver. Commissioner Randolph.
Second?
Second by Commissioner Randolph. Any further discussion? Please vote.
Eight yeas, 0 nays, motion approved.
Thank you. All right, the next one is 2021-2292-MSP, a minor subdivision of 2 acres into parcels A and B. The owners and representative, Clayton and Charlotte Miller. Parish Council District Representatives, Honorable Marty Dean. General location, parcels located on the south side of Brewster Road, west of Abear Lane, east of Grand Oaks Drive, Madisonville, Ward 1, District 1. Staff?
The applicant is requesting to create 2 parcels from a 2-acre parcel. The minor subdivision request requires a public hearing due to parcel B meets the minimum lot width of 150 feet required under the A2 suburban zoning district. However, if you noticed on a survey, it only meets the minimum lot width of 150 feet by including a 30-foot portion of Hebert Lane, which is a private access, and it requires a waiver from the Planning Commission. The request shall be subject to the above comment and also the below listed comments 1 through 6.
Okay, thank you. Good evening.
Hi.
How are y'all?
Good.
All right, so you're dividing the parcels, is that right?
Correct.
Okay. You've heard the staff comments. Are you in agreement with that?
What Ms. Hetland just said?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Anyone else in the audience wish to speak for or against on this item? Seeing no one, I'll close it to the public and bring it back to the commission. Commissioner Seaver.
Mr. and Ms. Miller, I have a question about the carport being over the property line. Who owns that adjoining property?
The neighbor in the back owns that, and we've made arrangements with him. We're gonna take care of it. The carport has been there for well over 35 years, and we have that in a statement and so on. So we went to the neighbor and talked about it, and he asked us if we would just put a fence to kind of hide the back of it, and we made an agreement, and he said he would sign something saying that that was all okay with him.
I move to approve this request.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Seeger to approve. Commissioner Fitzmaurice.
With the waiver, Commissioner Seeger?
Yes.
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Fitzmaurice. Any further discussion? Please vote.
Eight yeas, 0 nays, motion carried.
All right, next item is 2021-2299 MSP, a minor subdivision of 4.05 acres in the parcels A and B. The owner and representative is Enid Sean Poole Goring. Parish Council District Representatives, Honor Martha Castlebon. General location, the parcel located on the north side of Poole Drive, west of Columbia Street, Covington, Ward 3, District 3. Staff?
The applicant is requesting to create two parcels from a 4.05 acre parcel, which is currently being accessed via a private drive identified as Poole Drive. The minor subdivision request requires a public hearing due to parcel A and B do not have parish road frontage and are accessed through a private drive, requiring a waiver of the regulation section 125-188 by the Planning Commission. Also, parcel A and B are proposed to be accessed via a private drive, requiring a waiver of section 125-189 minimum construction standards that are listed here. The request shall be subject to the above comments and also the comments listed 1, 2, 3, and 4.
All right, thank you. The Gorings, you in, there you are. You're waiting. Good evening.
Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, I'm Pierre Liverday here representing Enid Poole Goringe. She's the owner of a 4-acre tract of land that she's asking to be subdivided into 2 lots. So this should not be a very complicated request in that these are commercial properties that sit on the front part of the Poole Lumber Company, and the property is served by Poole Drive, and there should be no problem with regard to access to the property. The United States Post Office uses that drive for both the public parking lot as well as their service trucks. The American Bank and Trust Company, which also accesses that particular drive, uses it for both their customer parking as well as their drive-up window. And so Ms. Goringe is seeking the division of the 4-acre tract into 2 parcels. And if anyone has any questions, we'll attempt to answer them for you.
Okay, thank you. Let's see if there's anyone else in the audience who wishes to speak on this case. Seeing no one, I'll bring it back to the commission. Commissioner Crawford.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Crawford to approve with the waivers.
Yes.
Okay, Commissioner Fitzmaurice.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Fitzmaurice. Please vote.
Eight yeas, 0 nays, motion carried.
Thank you. Thank y'all for coming out. Have a good evening.
All right, thank you very much.
All right, next item is 2021-2318 MSP, a minor subdivision of parcels 3, A and B, and the parcels A1 and B1. Owners and representative is Ann Bloche and Robert Martin Callender and Fitzjackal Partnership Incorporated. And Kemadan of Fitzjackal LLC. All right, the council district representative is David Fitzgerald. General location of the parcels located on the north side of Jensen Road, on the east side of Highway 437, Covington, Ward 3, District 2. Staff?
The applicant is requesting to create 2 parcels from parcels B and 3. The objective of the request is to allow for parcel B to be accessed from Johnson Road instead of Highway 437. The minor subdivision request requires a public hearing due to parcel B was previously part of a minor subdivision approved in September 2020. Parcel B1 is proposed to be reconfigured as a flag lot to be accessed from Johnson Road instead of Highway 437, requiring a waiver from the Planning Commission. And the proposed name of the access depicted on a survey plat shall be granted approval by the Planning Commission, which is proposed to be named Turtle Trace. The request shall be subject to the above comments and also item 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Okay, thank you. Somewhere in here representing the owners. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Park McHenry. I represent the owners of two properties that are adjoining one another that are subject to the re-subdivision. Ann and Robert Callender, who are a married couple who recently acquired the property fronting Lee Road, where they intend to build their retirement home. And then I also represent Fitzjackal Partnership and Fitzjackal LLC, who owns the 68 acres immediately abutting the property that Ann and Robert Callender acquired this past fall. And they have effectively agreed on a land swap to provide a driveway for the Callender family to have a driveway on Johnson as opposed to Lee Road. They preferred that because of the traffic on Lee Road. I'm here to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you. Anyone in the audience wish to speak for or against on this item? Seeing no one, I'll close it to the public and bring it back to the commission. Commissioner Fitzmaurice.
Motion to approve with the waivers.
Motion to approve with the waivers by Commissioner Fitzmaurice. Commissioner Seeger.
Second that.
Seconded by Commissioner Seeger. Any further discussion? Please vote.
Eight yeas, 0 nays, motion carried.
Thank you. All right, next item is 2020, this is in the re-subdivision review. 2021-2301-MRP, re-subdivision of lot 109, Semilusa Estates, and 40.47 acres into lots 109A and 109B, Semilusa Estates. Owners and representative is Lowell K. and Laurie O. Oliver Rogers. Surveyor is John Bono and Associates. Parish Council District Representative, Honorable Cheryl Tanner. The property is located on the north side of Warrior Trace, east of Highway 1129, which is Lee Road, of Covington, Ward 2, District 6. Staff?
The applicant is requesting to create two lots, lots 109A and 109B. The objective of the request is to provide access to a 40.47 acre parcel of land located north of lot 109. The public hearing is required considering that, as stated in the restricted covenants of the approved plat, no lots shall be further re-subdivided without approval from the Planning Commission. The proposed access or portion of the property to be added to the 40.47 acre parcel does not meet the minimum lot width of 300 feet required under the A1 suburban zoning district and requiring a waiver of the regulation from the Planning Commission. Lot 109B is requested to be created as a flag lot, requiring a waiver of the regulation by the Planning Commission since the flag lots are not permitted to be created within a recorded subdivision. And the proposed name of the access depicted on the survey plan shall be granted approval by the Planning Commission, which is proposed to be named Lorlo Lane. The request shall be subject to the above and comments and also items 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Thank you. Someone here representing the Rogers? Good evening.
Hello. We're the homeowners and we own the 40 acres behind us, and we would just like to have a passage to that piece because it's landlocked otherwise for my son and his wife to build their home.
Okay. I've got a card on her, Dwayne Fabian. He just wishes to speak. Good evening, sir.
My wife and I live in Semilusa Estates, and we understand wanting to subdivide the property. I don't see that as that's not an issue as far as we're concerned. The only concern I have, or we have, is the access. It sounds to me like a road will be built to gain access to that property. And that's a concern, and and I understand the land is landlocked, and it's wants to be built to get access to build a house back there. So I was just curious, is there a difference in a private drive or driveway as opposed to a road? And the concern that I have is that there's some land in the back of the property north of where we're talking about that's soon to be developed. And I imagine another road will be tied into this road, and then all the traffic will be coming through that subdivision that we're in now. And I don't know, I haven't had any privilege of seeing any of this stuff.
So basically what they're trying to do is to take a portion of lot 109
Right.
and attach it to the rear.
Right.
This cannot be extended. If they would want to do something like that, they would have to come back to a public hearing.
I understand that.
So this
But that's what we're doing now, extending a road.
just to access the back of the property.
I understand. So that's not a driveway, that's a road.
It's just gonna be a driveway to get to the
So a driveway named Low Lane, is it a private road or is it a driveway?
private road. It's a private driveway.
There's not a difference in a private driveway and a private road?
Well, I mean, you keep calling it a driveway or a road, but.
A private road can't have public access.
Well, it's gonna
Correct.
say private just for that parcel in the back. It's gonna be attached to it.
And when this is all developed back here, which is soon to be, there's not another road that will be attached here and funnel all the traffic through Semalusa, because it's shorter distance from there to get to the other road here, what's the name of the highway?
Is that not part of a 911
Fitzmore.
requirement because of the
Fitzmore.
distance from the road?
Anyway, that's the concern that I'm having with it. Private driveway to access the land, but we have private driveways all out there, that's not a problem. But a private road that can be accessed by public and used by the public, even though it says private, that's a concern.
It's on private property.
Also, how wide will this road be? And it's a swag, it's a pretty good drainage area through there. And that would be a concern also. That's
Chris,
just a
you wanna
concern.
handle that one?
I'm not trying to make it difficult on anybody, that's just concerns I have.
I'm gonna allow the petitioner to respond first.
And that's what this forum is for.
Legal's gonna,
Thank you.
There's a lot of
Answer that.
clarification that could add, but.
I was trying to pull up the restrictive covenants for Semalusa Estates, but if I'm not mistaken, I believe that there is a restrictive covenant for Semalusa Estates that say that there can be no access, no rear access into the subdivision on any roads, which I think would address the gentleman's concerns. So you would not be able to tie any other roads outside of this subdivision into Semalusa Estates through this proposed low lane. And Helen may be able to correct me if I'm wrong.
That's correct. That's correct.
okay?
And we have no intention to develop that land. We've owned it together since 1997. And our son and daughter-in-law showed interest in building a home, and so we were happy about that. So we just needed a road to get access to that property. So,
Okay, and you will use Laurel Lane?
well, we were told we had to name it.
We were told that
Ms.
that
Lambert
was
told
for
us we had to name
the
it.
purpose of 911 and having a mailing address, that's all.
Okay,
According
But
to
it's a
911.
private drive. I mean, it's not going to be a public road.
help me out here, guys.
According to 911, they are required to name the road for access purposes in the event that they would have to contact 911. And due to the fact that the house will not be seen directly from the main road, the 911 has a requirement that the road be named and approved by the Planning Commission.
Okay, all right. So that'll all happen in the future here.
Well, the road name is here on your staff report for approval by the Planning Commission.
Okay, all right. All right, we'll go forward then, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Mr. Fabian, you were basically, I'm gonna say against, do you have any further comments?
again, the only comment I have is, I see personally, and I'm not an expert, but I see a definite definition between a private drive and a private road. And I see, if it's designated a private road, for whatever reason it has to be, then I see access in the future coming from that backside, which is soon to be developed, through that private road into Semalusa and through Semalusa Estates, and not acting according with the covenants that we have. Now, I understand it's not planned to do that, but, you know, things change. And that's the only concern I have, is there'll be a lot of traffic funneled through the subdivision, where when the subdivision was set up originally, and based on the covenants, there's not supposed to be any access from that direction. And if that's the case, that's fine, but how do you guarantee in this meeting that that won't come up in the future? Is it guaranteed that will happen?
It would require a public hearing to make such a request.
Like we're having today, to develop a private road.
Legal?
Well, you can answer.
Again, when Semalusa Estates was platted, there's a restricted covenant in that subdivision plat that says that you cannot allow rear access into Semalusa Estates.
Right.
So that restrictive covenant would not allow anyone to come and put a road to connect into Semalusa Estates from behind the subdivision.
Unless you have a meeting as we're having today. Right?
I don't think that anyone would be prohibited from requesting a waiver and coming to the
Right.
planning commission. However, that's why I said it would require a public hearing for such a request.
Anyway. I can see it happening in the future. And it's not, I'm not trying to, like I said, I'm not trying to make it difficult, but I can understand the position. It's just that I have a concern with all that traffic that will be.
It would be, I can speak for myself, it'd be pretty odd for us to go against a restrictive covenant that's been in place, especially considering it would impact others.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yes, sir? Please state your name and address.
I'm Nick Roget. I'm the son of Lori and Lowell. I'm gonna be the one building behind them. So it's gonna be a private road to private 40 acres, and the subdivision that Mr. Fabian's talking about doesn't butt up adjacent to that 40 acres. So there's gonna be no way we could tie into that subdivision. There's a 160 acre strip that runs north of that 40 acre property that separates us from what I think is gonna be called the reserve, which is the new subdivision being developed. So it would not tie into Semalusa any other way. So that's all I wanted to say in regards to that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, any further discussion from the public? I'm gonna close it to the public and bring it back to the commission. Commissioner Fitzmaurice.
Motion to approve with the waivers.
Motion to approve with the waivers by Commissioner Fitzmaurice. Commissioner Seeger.
Second that.
You said second, I'm sorry.
Second.
Okay, all right. All right, there's no other commissioners in the queue, so I'll ask for the vote.
Eight yeas, 0 nays, motion carried.
Thank you. All right, next item is 2021-2305-MRP, re-subdivision of Lot 15A into lots 14A1 and 15A1, Phase 1A1, Lakeshore Estates. Owner representative is Antoine and Tisha Banks. Surveyors J.V. Burks and Associates. Perry Council District Representative Honorable Jay Carey. General location, the property is located on the south side of Lakeshore Boulevard in Slidell, Ward 9, District 13. Staff?
The applicant is requesting to create two lots, lots 14A1 and 15A1. The public hearing is required considering that as stated in the restrictive covenants of the approved plat, no lot shall be further re-subdivided without approval from the Planning Commission, and the request shall be subject to the comment listed on your staff report.
Okay, thank you. Good evening.
Hello, I'm Taisha Banks, the owner of the lot.
Okay.
We're just looking, we purchased the lot from the previous owner who had joined it, he was gonna build one big property. We're purchasing it, well, we purchased it, we wanna do a private home on half and sell the other half.
Okay.
That's it.
All right, let's see if there's anybody in the audience who wishes to speak for or against. Seeing no one, I'll close it to the public and bring it back to the commission. Commissioner Randolph.
Motion to approve with the waiver?
Motion to approve with the waivers by Commissioner
No
Randolph.
waiver. There's no,
Commissioner Fitzmaurice.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Fitzmaurice. Any further discussion? Please vote.
Eight yeas, 0 nays, motion carried.
Thank you. All right, next item is 2021-2306 MRP, re-subdivision of lots 86 and 87 into lots 86A, Phase 1, Lake Ramsey. Owners and representatives, William B. and Janet Soft. Surveyor is Randall W. Brown and Associates. Parish Council District Representatives, Honorable Martha Caspon. General location, the property is located on the east side of South Lakeshore Drive, south of River Lake Drive, Covington, Ward 3, District 3. Staff?
The owner is requesting to create one parcel from parcels 86 and 87. The public hearing is required, considering that as stated in the restrictive covenants of the approved plat, no lots shall be further re-subdivided without approval from the Planning Commission, and the request shall be subject to item 1, 2, and 3.
Okay, thank you. Good evening.
Hi,
And you are?
I'm Bruce Ofgee, William Bruce Ofgee, and
All
my
right.
wife Renee. We are the owners of the 2 lots.
So everything in the staff comments you've agreed to?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Let's see if there's anyone in the audience who wishes to speak for or against. And I don't see anyone, so we're gonna close it to the public and bring it back to the commission. Commissioner Seeger.
Move to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Seeger to approve. Commissioner McInnes.
Just a comment for the owners. It's a special place there at Lake Ramsey, isn't it? You've a view of a lake,
It
one
is,
direction, surrounded by nature preserve and wildlife management area.
It is our retirement dream home.
Yeah. I used to manage the Nature Conservancy's nature preserve there. So I guess you understand it's a fire-maintained ecosystem.
Yes,
Great. They're very careful in letting everybody know when they're doing the burning.
right.
So, and it's better than arson fire, which was happening before we owned it. I moved to second it, the
Okay.
motion.
Second by Commissioner McInnes. Any further discussion? Please vote.
Eight yeas, 0 nays, motion carried.
Thank y'all.
All right, next item is 2021-2308, re-subdivision of lots 234 and into 234A, Phase 4, Natchez Trace. Owner representative, Rockwell Builders LLC, Robert Rockwell. Surveyor is Kelly J. McHugh and Associates. Parish Council District Representative, Honorable Marty Dean. General location, the property is located on the north side of Natchez Court, east of Louisiana Highway 21, Covington, Ward 1, District 1. Staff?
The objective of the request is to allow for the building envelope to align with the other sites. The public hearing is required, considering that as stated in the restrictive covenants of the approved plat, no lots shall be further re-subdivided without approval from the Planning Commission, and the request shall be subject to the item listed here on your staff report.
Okay, thank you. Good evening.
Good
And you
evening.
are?
My name is Robert Rockwell. I'm the owner of Rockwell Builders.
I'm sorry, there you
Robert
go.
Rockwell with Rockwell Builders.
Okay, all right. So you're in agreement with everything?
I am.
Okay, good deal. Anyone in the audience wish to speak for or against? I'm going to close it to the public and bring it back to the commission. Commissioner Fitzmaurice.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Fitzmaurice to approve. Commissioner Randolph.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Randolph. Any further discussion? Please vote.
Eight yeas, 0 nays, motion carried.
All right, thank you. All right, go to petitions and requests. Case is PET 2021-001. Request to build on a buildable substandard lot of record pursuant to section 125-84 contiguous lot rule of chapter 125 subdivision regulations located on the southwest side of Gitz Lane, Lacombe, Ward 7, District 7. The owner is Josephine Brown. Petitioner representative is Thomas and Beth Kimball. Parish Council District Representative, Honorable James Davis. Staff?
The petitioner is requesting to build on a 3.03 acre property having 20-foot road frontage along Gitz Road. Staff does not have any objection to the request, as the petitioner had the opportunity to purchase 3.03 acre without the option to acquire any adjacent property, and based on the facts that the petitioner has satisfied the requirements of proof as referenced to the above.
Okay, thank you. Yes, sir, good evening.
Good evening, I'm Thomas Kimball. I am the one who's trying to purchase the land for building.
Take your mask down and bring the mic up.
I'm sorry. Yes, my name's Thomas Kimball. I'm the one trying to purchase the land. I'll answer any questions I can for you.
Okay, is Ms. Brown with you, or?
No, we got a letter from them that was turned in, giving us authorization. They
Okay.
live out of state.
All right. There's a Ulysses Opie Jr.
I'm sorry.
You wish to speak?
My name is Ulysses Opie, and I live adjacent to this property. My only concern is drainage. I don't know if this is a proper place to do this, but as it is, when it rains really hard, all the water from the adjacent areas comes dumping onto my property.
Okay. Have you called that into the engineering group here at St. Tammany?
No, sir, I did not.
I would suggest that you do that maybe tomorrow.
Okay, and who is that again?
Engineering.
Engineering?
Right.
Okay, that'd be great.
Okay.
Sure.
All right.
That was my only
Hopefully
concern.
they can come out and maybe there's a solution that will solve the problem.
Oh, that's my only concern. I knew sooner or later somebody was gonna build on there. And I've spoken to the gentleman, I mean, they're real nice people. But that was just my main concern.
All right, thank you. All right, anyone else in the audience wish to speak? I'll close it to the public. Okay.
Hi, I'm Beth. I'm
Okay.
his wife. I just wanted to address his concern. We're aware that it's in a critical drainage and that we're going to have to get engineering involved before we build, so that should be addressed at that time. That's it.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to close it to the public and bring it back to the commission. Commissioner Crawford.
A question for staff. So the question here is that it has 20-foot road frontage and not 50-foot road frontage?
That's correct. So they provided all the required documents to prove that this parcel was not created, from another parcel of land, and, that it's not someone who was neglecting to not creating a parcel meeting the requirements.
Okay.
It just happened, and all the documents were reviewed carefully, but it still has to come in front of the Planning Commission for review.
Okay. Okay, in that case, I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Crawford to approve. Commissioner Seeger. Second by Commissioner Seeger. Commissioner Fitzmaurice just disappeared. All right. Any further discussion? Please vote.
8 yeas, 0 nays, motion carried.
All right, tentative subdivision review. Preliminary subdivision review, case numbers 2021-2303-PP, River Club Phase 4B, developer owners, River Club Development LLC, Kelly McHugh and Associates are the engineer and surveyor. Parish Council District Representative Honorable Marty Dean. General location, the property is located along Oxbow Court, north of Delta Lane, south of Brewster Road, west of Tchefuncte River. Covington, Ward 1, District 1. Staff?
Yes, sir. The preliminary plans and hydrologic study have been reviewed by this office, and inspection was performed of the site on March 26, 2021. Planning Commission approval shall be subject to the following items being addressed. 1, the developer has requested a waiver of regulations for detention requirements in accordance with Ordinance 11-2426. Therefore, the Department of Engineering has calculated a drainage fee in lieu of detention as follows: 4.018 acres at $2,000 per acre for a total of $8,036. This calculation includes the entire footprint of Phase 4B. The fee shall be due prior to the issuance of any work orders by the parish. 2, provide a geotechnical report that is referenced in the typical street section on the preliminary plat. 3, provide existing and proposed elevations at all property corners. And 4, provide written plan approval from Utilities Incorporated for this phase of River Club. No funded maintenance obligation is required since this is an extension of a private subdivision.
Thank you. Well, good evening, Mr. Morone.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. Paul Maroon on behalf of River Club Development LLC and Phase 4B of River Club. We've reviewed all the staff comments, have no objection to any of them, and we'll comply with all of them. With regard to the written approval of the plans from Utilities, Inc., those have been submitted. We thought we would have that back by now. I know that Mr. Williams, who is the director of Utilities, Inc., has been out of town, but we expect to have that shortly, and we'll be happy to provide that to the staff upon receipt. We'd ask for your approval, subject to the staff comments, and I'll be happy to answer any questions any of the commissioners might have.
Thank you, Mr. Morone. Anyone in the audience wish to speak for or against? Seeing no one, I'll close it to the public, bring it back to the commission. Commissioner Randolph.
A motion to approve
With the waivers?
with the waivers.
Okay. Commissioner Fitzmaurice.
Second.
Commissioner Rest.
Yes, I got a question. Something I've become more concerned for me. In this subdivision, the sewage disposal, how is it handled? Is this Magnolia or do we have somebody?
Utilities, Inc. of Louisiana is the provider.
Okay.
So it is all of the sewer is pumped from this area to the facility on the at the northwest quadrant of Highway 21 and I-12. There's a very large treatment facility there just off the interstate, and that's where Utilities, Inc. Services this area from.
So one of the things we have here, this is a direct drainage to the Tchefuncte because there's no detention. So what about power loss to your pump station? What's going to happen?
That would be a question for Utilities, Inc. I believe that most of the utilities have, and I believe through the Public Service Commission, are required to have generator backup for those, but I couldn't answer that definitively. That would be a provider question to Utilities, Inc.
It's become more of a concern for me, Paul, so I'm starting to look at these a little harder because I've seen the effects of it. And most of the places I've seen so far, I'm not sure they have backup. And either at the lift stations or, and it may not be a requirement from the parish at this point, but it maybe is good sound business that we're not discharging raw sewage into the bayous and the lakes.
Sure.
I would think any of the developers would be taking this into consideration. And at the sewage disposal plant itself, is their backup. So they may have backup there, but if they don't have backup at the lift stations, it doesn't
Right.
matter. Okay, it's not getting to the getting to the plant.
Right.
Okay. I just would ask you to, as we go forward here, and I know it's not yours to, but as your companies you're representing or whatever come forward, developers you're representing, I would like you, if you would, just have this discussion with them, because it is going to be a question I'm going to be asking more and more as we go. I know it's not a requirement from the in an ordinance. I'm not so sure it shouldn't be, but right now it's not. But I still believe it's just wrong to be discharging raw sewage.
Right. And I'll certainly check into that and see what I can find out. I recall after Katrina, when I was more involved with one of the utilities in the area at that time, there was not a requirement, but Katrina changed a lot of that.
Yes.
And my recollection is that the Public Service Commission, which regulates all these utilities, the parish really isn't the regulatory body of the utilities as much as the Public Service Commission is. And they promulgated some rules that I think require that, but I can find out the answer, and I'll be happy to share that with you when I come back. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate
Sure.
your
Sure.
help on it. Thank you. That's all.
Mr. Crawford.
One question for staff. Chris, under general comments, this item number 1, the developers requested a waiver of regulations for detention requirements. How does that work? I'm not familiar with that.
So based off the proximity, if they're within the lower third of the drainage basin, they can pay a fee in lieu of providing detention on site to allow the water to run right off the site, so the water upstream has somewhere to go when it comes down.
Okay, wasn't aware of that. Okay, and then there's a drainage fee associated with that, obviously.
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right, thank you.
And these homes and stuff will be high enough that the river, when it gets high, won't flood them.
That's correct. Yes.
Okay. Ross, you might want to get with Paul and y'all talk to the Public Service Commission. Just this past weekend, we had a failure of the lift station in the subdivision I live in, and affluent ran out for a whole day, and my neighbor had called them at 9 o'clock in the morning, and at 4 o'clock it was still running. And so I called, and they did get somebody out, but there used to be a generator at that lift station, and they pulled it out, and I went by there, this is probably 6 months, a year ago, and they said, well, we took the generator out, and we have portable generators that we'll put there if needed. Well, you know, it ran for a number of hours, and I don't know if they have a device that, you know, sets off an alarm, so that, and Utilities Incorporated, their call-in number is in Florida. So I'm not sure how all that works, but like Ken said, we need to find out, because if you lose power in an area, and unfortunately we've seen Clico and WST and Energies, especially on the South Shore, losing power for a number of hours.
Absolutely, will do.
I appreciate it. All right. Any further discussion? We've got a motion and a second, right?
Randolph and then Fitzmore.
Okay. We've got a motion and a second. Please vote.
Eight yeas, 0 nays, motion carried.
All right, final subdivision review, 2021-2309-FP, Maison du Lac, Phase 3D, developer owners WBB Realty LLC, engineer surveyors Richard C. Lambert Consultants LLC, Parish Council District Representative Honorable Marty Dean. General location, the property is located south of Rue Maison du Lac Boulevard, east of Rue Marcel, west of Bootlegger Road, north of Louisiana Highway 21, Covington, Ward 1, District 1. Staff?
Yes, sir. Periodic inspections have been made by this office during construction, and the final inspection was made on March 26, 2021. The inspection disclosed that all the concrete roads and subsurface drainage is constructed. The following uncompleted items existed at the time of the final inspection and will be completed before the plats are signed. Items 1, 2, 3, and 4 can be disregarded as they were provided. And so moving to 5. The subsurface pipe and catch basin located in the western alley is silted in and needs to be cleaned out and have additional riprap placed at the outfall. 6, provide erosion control measures at the subsurface drainage stub-out locations where siltation has occurred and clean subsurface pipes as needed. 7, the swales along the northern and western sides of Phase 3D need to be cleaned of all debris, trash, and need to be vegetated to avoid erosion and siltation. 8, update the final plat to show A-4A and PUD zoning. 9, update street length total in the subdivision information section to reflect 970 feet. 10, update the temporary benchmark in this phase to reflect a permanent benchmark. 11, add the following restrictive covenant. It shall be prohibited for any lot within an approved subdivision to have rear access via a driveway to or from any street or road that is not dedicated within the boundaries of the proposed subdivision plat. Should the Planning Commission approve the request for final approval, a warranty obligation will be required for the infrastructure in the amount of 970 linear feet at $25 per linear foot for a total of $24,250 for a period of 2 years. Mandatory developmental fees are required as follows. A road impact fee at $1,077 per lot for 16 lots for a total of $17,232. A drainage impact fee at $1,114 per lot for 16 lots for a total of $17,824. These fees are due before subdivision plats can be signed. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Marone?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Again, Paul Marone, this time on behalf of WBB Realty. With regards to items 5 and 6, which is the cleaning out of some siltation in some pipes and the adding some additional riprap at the outfall, those items are under repair or corrective this week. We'll have those finished by the end of the week. Item 7 regarding the swales, that work is already completed. That is all the field work. With regards to the final plat items, we will make all of those changes. I do want to make a comment on item 11 with regards to the restrictive covenant. We have no objection to adding the restrictive covenant. We did suggest a very slight modification to the exact language that is here. And I don't know if staff's even had a chance to consider that yet, but I wanted to make sure the record was clear. We're happy to do it, would like to work with staff. My concern was with the word dedicated. The streets within Maison du Lac are all private. And dedicated denotes to a lot of people that it's dedicated to the public. And the goal here is to make sure that there's no rear access to a public street, which we have no problem with. But we would rather delete the word dedicated so that it just reads that there is no driveway that is not within the boundaries of the subdivision, without saying dedicated, because we're afraid that that could cause some confusion going forward, if that didn't confuse everybody. But with that, other than that, the concept we agree with. We will comply with the comment. We did want to do a little wordsmithing, and we hope that you'll give us that latitude to work with staff to make sure that they're comfortable with what we're proposing there. I'll be happy to answer any other questions that any of the commissioners might have.
Okay. Y'all comfortable with making that change?
We actually have worked out the language already and have agreed to what he's talking about by eliminating dedicated for this covenant.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, let's see. Carlos and his wife are the only ones left from the public, so I'm going to close it to the public and bring it back to the commission. Commissioner McInnes.
Paul, I just want to make a comment. You just see siltation happen every time you see development. And I was disappointed to see 3 different locales on this site, which is only 4 acres, be cited for siltation problems. And I just want to encourage engineering staff to be very firm when you go back and look at this, because I just see it sort of lacks a lot of times. It's set up at the beginning, then it falls apart, it's not maintained. Maybe they planted some seed, maybe it grew, maybe it didn't. We have such beautiful streams and creeks in St. Tammany, and as a manager of property in this parish, I've seen beautiful clear creeks turn to white milkshakes by neighbors developing, and constantly having to call them out on it. So I would encourage you to check that very carefully, because we need developers to be vigilant with that. It's important. And also, Paul, on 7, you said it's already happened. What was it vegetated with?
I believe it was hydroseeded.
Okay, that's good. Okay, that's my comments.
Commissioner Seeger.
I'll move to approve,
Motion by Commissioner Seeger to approve.
subject to staff comments being,
Pardon?
subject to the staff comments.
Subject to the staff comments, okay? Commissioner Randolph.
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Randolph. Commissioner Crawford.
Just one quick question. Paul, I see the lots are 40 by 100. What type of unit is being built on those?
So these are garden home units.
Okay.
So they're not common wall. There's a very, I forget exactly what the setback is, but they're garden homes, very small yard.
Okay, so individual
Indiv-
residence, just small.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Chris, on this item 11,
Yes,
is
sir.
this something that we're gonna start seeing in all of the restrictive covenants on subdivisions coming in? Most of them are gonna back up to maybe another subdivision as we go forward.
So the restrictive covenant comes from section 125-214, and it's a parish enforced restrictive covenant. And the reason you're seeing this on here is for a subdivision that's gonna be dedicated to the parish for maintenance, this would just be a standard fare on there. It's just something that's required by ordinance to be on their plats. That enables us to go in there and do what we need to do and to protect the subdivision. But since it's a private subdivision that's privately owned and maintained, they're just concerned that the word dedicated will lead adjacent properties, because this is right off Highway 21, to think that somebody may be able to tie in from a rear access or something. It's cleaning it up, so everything goes through the homeowner association or the developer.
Okay, and the siltation, what was it, items 5 and 6? That's gonna be for the homeowners association to do, or does that come back into the drainage that the parish maintains?
Hey, this is gonna be, the developer's gonna have to go out and address these items. We'll do another inspection, and then once all the plats are recorded, it'll fall on the homeowners association to maintain these.
Okay, all right.
It'll actually be, the warranty, it'll still be on the developer
That's
during
correct.
the warranty period.
That's correct.
So when the warranty period ends, the staff will make another inspection to make sure that everything is working adequately. If there's any issues at that point, the developer then would have to correct that. Once that's done, then it would turn over to the homeowners association.
Okay, thank you. All right, seeing no one else in the queue, we have a motion and a second. Please vote.
Eight yeas, 0 nays, motion carried.
I don't think we have any old business, new business. Pardon? All right, a motion to adjourn. Thank y'all.
Chris, you know why I can remove that?
Because I have a mask, you don't want me breathing on him. You're looking at it after his health.
In case somebody needs to shoot.
Thank you.
I got a blocker.
See, I was looking out for